and the Netherlands going out on penalties to Paraguay and Morocco respectively. Tonight it is the turn of the Côte d'Ivoire against Norway. Ivory Coast, as they're called as well, they're ranked 33rd on the FIFA rankings, Norway 31st, so there is really not much between them at all. It's been a long time between drinks for Norway to get to the World Cup, but these days they have an extremely strong squad and are fancied to do well in this tournament. They made 10 changes for the last of their group games, where they were hammered 4-1 by France, but those 10 people are back today. Ivory Coast, well, they made 3 changes from the side that beat Curaçao by 2-0 in their final group game. Both of these teams finished runners-up in their respective groups, so I'll take you through the changes now. First, for the Ivory Coast, Agbadou, Konan and Inoy Ulai come in. Operi, Ousmane Diomande and Manchester United's Amad Diallo drop to the bench. As I said, Stollerbacken made a staggering 10 changes for that game against France, with Norway having already qualified, and that of course meant that they were basically always going to finish runners-up in their group. Back into the side come Nyland, Pedersen, Hegem, Muller-Wolfer, Ødegaard, Berger, Nusa, Erling Haaland, Alex Sorloth and Christopher Ajer. Dropping back to the bench are Selvik, Osnay, Falconer, Torsved, Arsgaard, Ostigard, Bob, Björkan, Strand-Larsen and Sheldrup. So, massive changes ahead of this game, particularly from the Norway side. Jesus Valenzuela of Venezuela is our referee. The Ivory Coast in their famous orange strip. And I'll take you through the full lineups now. Côte d'Ivoire go with a 4-1-4-1 formation, we believe. Their manager's Emerse Faye. Yahia Fofana in goal, a back four of Guela Doué, Odilon Kosanu, Emmanuel Agbadou and Ghislaine Konan. In front of them is Nottingham Forest's Ibrahim Sangare. The four in front of him, Nicolas Pepe, the captain Frank Kessia, Christ Inoy Olai, and the much in demand Jan Diomande. And up front, Ange Johan Bonni of Inter Milan. On the bench for the Elephants, Mohamed Kone and Alban Lafont, the two goalkeepers. Then Ousmane Diomande, Jean-Michel Seri, Wilfried Singo, Sesko Fofana, Simon Odringa, Ile Wahi, Christopher Operi, Umar Diakite, Amad Diallo, Evan Ndika, Evan Gesand, Bazumana Toure and the wonderfully named Parfait Guillagon. Stali Solbakken goes with a 4-3-3 or maybe just with a 4-2-3-1. It is a movable feast. Urjan Nyland of Sevilla is in goal. The back four of Marcus Pedersen, Christopher Ajer, Torbjorn Hegem and David Muller-Wolfer. The midfield three, the captain Martin Ødegaard, Sander Berger and Patrick Berg, who keeps his place from the game against France, and a front three of Alexander Sørloth, Erling Haaland and Antonio Nusa. On the bench for Norway, the two keepers Sander Tangvig and Egil Selvig. Then we've got Morten Thorsby, Leo Østigard, Jorgen Strand-Larsen, Fredrik Osnay, Fredrik Bjørkan, Christian Torsved, Tello Arsgaard, Andreas Sheldrup, Oscar Bob, Jens Petter Hoeg, Sondre Longas, Henrik Falconer and Julian Rierson. That is a big bench. And those are the lineups for the game this evening. Norway in a rather dull all-white strip this evening. They're not wearing their nice red one with the blue irregular cross on it. But it's a packed house here. The roof is on the stadium here in Dallas, and it is a sea of red and orange as we get ready for this round of 32 clash. It is huge. As I said, we've seen two almighty shocks in the last hours with Germany and the Netherlands falling out of the competition at the round of 32 stage. That was down to penalties. Let's hope this doesn't go all that far this evening. We want to get this done and dusted in the 90 if we can. So, the Côte d'Ivoire, all in bright orange trimmed with green in their huddle. Norway, all in white in their huddle. And we're just about ready for kick-off here in Dallas. Just to remind you, you're listening to an independent, studio-based off-tube commentary of this round of 32 game between the Côte d'Ivoire and Norway. And don't forget, you can follow this match on your local, regional and national TV broadcaster. So, we are set. Ivory Coast are going to get us underway. They're going to be playing from left to right in this first half. They will have kick-off. And we're just about ready, and we are now underway. He goes back to Sangare. Then the long ball downfield. He's just pumped it directly downfield and out of play. I know sometimes they kick it out of play directly from kick-off, but it went back to Sangare. If that was his a pass, it was a pretty poor one. Flew out straight for a throw-in. Taken quickly by Marcus Pedersen. Headed back towards the halfway line. Sander Berge wins that header. But the chest down falls to the feet of Antonio Nusa. The blonde-haired winger here of RB Leipzig tries to feed it into the edge of the penalty area for Haaland. And remember, he's on, I think it's 5 goals now, Erling Haaland. And he's one of these forwards. I covered the game when they played Senegal. He didn't even have a touch in the first half. Doesn't get many touches, but when he does, he generally scores. So you can never relax, that's for sure. Here's Torbjorn Hegem. And now the ball played down this near side. Lovely flick round the corner there by Nusa. Trying to pick up the run there of Ødegaard, the captain. At the moment, Ivory Coast struggling to get the ball off Norway, who are keeping it rather nicely. Sander Berge, now Martin Ødegaard on halfway. Ventures into the Ivory Coast half. This is Sorloth. Back to Pedersen. Squares it across to Christopher Ayer of Brentford in the Premier League. And this is Hegem. Sander Berge, the Fulham midfielder. And again, no real press here from the Ivory Coast. They're just allowing Norway to have the football. As I said, the roof is on and it's an air-conditioned stadium, so it's perfect conditions for playing football. Although, I dare say we will get the hydration break, which usually goes down poorly with the crowd. Anyway, patient stuff this from Norway, playing it across the back. Now they venture down that right-hand side. Great ball round the back. Ødegaard gets the crossing from the byline. Header from Haaland, but it's blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box and then hacked out for a throw-in on the far side. So an early touch for Braut Haaland, as it says on the back of his shirt. His header there. Got to watch him. They didn't really pick him up. Throw-in taken quickly. Comes back to the feet of Pedersen. Picked up by the offside flag has gone up there. And that was a decent chance there for Haaland with that header. He headed it straight into the stomach of Odilon Kosunu, the Atalanta centre-half. Ball out of play over on that far side. There was loose play by the Ivory Coast. Throw-in taken quickly by Pedersen. Gets the ball back. This is Sander Berge. Back to Ayer. And now this is Hegem inside the centre circle. Just over 3 minutes gone. Ivory Coast 0, Norway 0. This is a round 32 clash of this, the greatest football tournament in the world. Here's the captain Ødegaard. Left-footed ball chipped right down the middle. Brought down inside the area by Kosunu, but he's forced to nudge it out for a throw-in again over on that far side. Ødegaard will take it quickly. This is a good start from the Norwegians, dominating possession at the moment with this opening 4 minutes. Here's Ødegaard once over. That's a loose touch, and now he's had the ball pinched. This is Pepe going down that far side. Brings in Bonny. Has he won a corner for the Ivory Coast? Yes, he has. Excuse me. Over on that far side. Just a loose... Oh, actually, no. I think he may have got the last touch there. It was a sliding tackle from Christophe Ayer. And final touch came off the shins of Johan Bonny. A sea of red in the Norwegian section. They do create a great atmosphere with the slow hand claps and the rowing formation. They all pretend they're rowing a longboat. Really is a sight to see. Noosa is fouled on this near touchline by Nicolas Pepe. So that free kick is taken quickly. This is Hegum. Squares it to Aya, just shy of the halfway line. First 5 minutes gone. It's been pretty much all Norway. Only half a chance for Erling Haaland early on. Now then, Norway again, as they did against Senegal. Patient at the back, knocking it around, keeping hold of the football really nicely. This is Noosa, just nudges it back to Mollewulfer. And now it will be brought forward by the tall Aya. Now he picks out Pedersen. He has space down this right-hand side. He gets away from Diamande. Now then, side of the penalty area. About face. Knocks it back up the field. Ødegaard trying to wrestle his way clear in that corner. And it's put out for a throw-in. It's actually come off the shins of Pedersen, so it will be a relieving throw for the Ivory Coast on the far side. Over near the corner flag, which will be taken by Ghislaine Conan, who plays for Gil Vicente in the Portuguese Premier League. A further throw-in now for the Ivory Coast, just shy of the halfway line over on that far side. They'll be wanting to have a touch of the ball at their feet for a wee while, but they've won themselves another throw-in. There's a pressing there from Ødegaard. Conan quickly with the throw. This is Agbadou. He plays for Besiktas, formerly of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now then, brought down by Pepe, a veteran of this side, the Villarreal midfielder. He has the ball at his feet now, down this near side, trying to get away from Noosa. Nudges the ball down the line here for the run from Frank Kessie, the captain. He's won a throw-in for the Ivory Coast, just level with the penalty area, taken quickly by Pepe, chested down. Little 1-2. Now this is a good opportunity now. The Ivory Coast knocking it around nicely. Comes to the byline. Paul is whipped in there. Oh, just too high for Yan Diamande. He leapt there and it just grazed the top of his head from that cross from Goela Doué. Of course, the brother of Desiree Doué, but he has opted to nail his colours to the Ivory Coast mast. Although he does play his football in France for Strasbourg. Now then, Ivory Coast whip the ball again in from the side of the penalty area over on that far side. Flicks off the head of Mollewulfer, but Pepe will gather it in. He's inside the penalty area now. And Mollewulfer blocks him, but he still retains the ball, but now he's outside of the penalty area. And this is a good little spell now for the Ivory Coast. Good ball down that channel. Now then, Pepe gets to the byline, works it back inside on his left foot, gets across in, and it's cleared out for a corner by Hegum. Real pressure being applied here by the Ivory Coast, having not really seen much of the ball for the first 5 minutes. And suddenly it's them asking the questions now, with Pepe and Bonny and Kessie linking up very nicely down this near side. Gianni Infantino in the house, as he generally is, and I can see Alf Inge Haaland, of course, the father of Erling Haaland. He's sat at the back of him. Now, corner for the Ivory Coast on this near side. Nicolas Pepe will be the man to take it. It'll be an in-swinging corner. Ball comes in towards the back post. It flies over the top of Kessie, and it will go out on the far side for a goal kick for Norway, which Ørjan Nyland, all in yellow, the Sevilla keeper, will take. Plonks the ball down on the 6-yard line. 9 minutes gone. Little short ball to Aya. So you're listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of this round of 32 game between the Ivory Coast and Norway. I'm Joe Mills. Thank you for your company. We are in Dallas Stadium, Arlington, Texas, under the roof on this Tuesday afternoon. This is Hegem. Now Mollewulfer being pressed a little bit this time by Pepe, so he rolls it all the way back to the keeper. Nyland controls it with his foot, then lashes it long downfield out to that far side. Surloth wins the header. He is 6'5", the athletic striker, but it comes back towards the edge of the area. Now Doué tussling away there with Noosa. He wins that battle. This is Kosanu. Now Sangare. Good pressing here from Norway. In fact, they've won the ball back inside the Ivory Coast half and then promptly lost it again. Frank Kessié, and he plays a good ball down the right channel looking for Bonny, but it's tidied up by Sander Berger and quickly released back downfield by Nyland. And Sangare has the flick on header inside the centre circle, gathered in by his back four. Agbadou. No, but Ivory Coast have now lost it inside their own half. This is Noosa now. Feeds the ball through. They've got it on the edge of the area. Oh, they just tried to nudge it to the left to Haaland, but it was intercepted, thankfully for the Ivory Coast, by Kosanu. But that was careless by the men in orange. They've given the ball away once more, but the referee is blown up for something here. Mr. Valenzuela of Venezuela. Love it. Yeah, it was a shove by Mollewulfer on Nicolas Pepe. So it will be a free kick to the Ivory Coast, tight to the touchline on this near side. Doué takes it quickly, rolls it back to Kosanu. Now Agbadou. This is Conan. I'm reliably informed he's not a barbarian. Now, this is Christ Inu Ulai of Trabzonspor. Now Sangare. And the Ivory Coast starting to enjoy real possession here, having withstood that early starvation of the ball from the Norwegians. It's now beginning to level up this game, and it's settling down. Not much between these two sides at all. It's one of those that you just can't call. But of course, when you've got Erling Haaland in your side, maybe that just tips the scales in favour of the Norwegians. But we shall see. Ball nudged down that left channel there by Inu Ulai, but it's gone out for a goal kick for Norway. As I said, it's been a long time since they've been at the World Cup, but they have a generational side here, and a very strong side that many feel could go deep into this tournament. It's been a long time since they've had a national side with this much talent. Now here's Noosa down this near side. He's hustled off it though, and the Ivory Coast gather it again inside their own half. Ball fed up to the halfway line, then nicely floated over to the left, but that's intercepted by Pedersen. Now Alex Surloth over on that far side, getting away from Inu Ulai, but the little Trabzonspor midfielder did a brilliant sliding tackle to pinch the ball back off him, and he has it again over on that far side. 1-2 with Kessié. He is on the ball now. 13 minutes gone. Kosanu. Now Doué down this near side, floats a nice arcing ball in towards the edge of the area, but Bonny can't control it, and it goes through to Nyland, who releases it quickly, and Norway are already up to the halfway line. Sander Berger. Now back to Marcus Pedersen, who will roll it back to Nyland, edge of his area. Now this is Mollewulfer on this near side. Slows it right down. Hegem. Across to Christophe Ayer, and again the Ivory Coast just not taking the bait for the press at the moment. Mollewulfer now down this near side, tried to feed the ball through there to Patrick Berg, but it was intercepted. The Ivory Coast took a little flick off Berg as well, so it's a throw-in taken quickly by Doué all the way back to Kosanu, and he will roll it back to Fofana. Now Agbadou still have the ball inside their own penalty area here, Ivory Coast, and need to get rid of it. And finally they do. Up the middle it comes. This is Frank Kessié. Floats the ball out to that far side. This is Diamande. of RB Leipzig, but probably not for long. Rimazari's off to PSG, brought down there by Pedersen over on that far side. Referee didn't blow for anything. Has that gone out for a corner? And Diomande didn't look too impressed. Well, there was a big shove there by Pedersen, and then Diomande had hold of the shirt. It was a bit of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. But it is a corner. Second one for the Ivory Coast. This time over on the far left-hand side. Yan Diomande will be the man to take it. 15 minutes gone. Ball whipped in and headed away with authority there by Alex Sorloth. Chested down by Kosunu. Now then, here's Doué. Whips another good ball into the area. You know, they almost got it at the back post there, but it was a heavy touch from Diomande, and it goes out for a goal kick. But they're being very proactive here, the Ivory Coast. Lots of crosses going into the box. Maybe England should take note of that. Now then, here's Nusa. Patrick Berg back to Moller-Wolfer. Now is Torbjorn Hegem. Sander Berger. Classy defensive midfielder from Fulham. Now Sorloth over on that far right hand side. Back it comes to Pedersen. And again, Norway just happy to keep hold of the ball and slow the game down again. This is just going in fits and starts, this game. You get little periods of end-to-end pressure, and then it slows down again with either one of the teams just keeping the ball and knocking it around gently for a bit. Here comes Aya into the Côte d'Ivoire half. Sorloth over on that far side, too easily dispossessed there by Diomande. This is Ibrahim Sangare. He's being hassled all the way there by Sorloth. Comes back to Agbadou. And now back to Fofana, the keeper. His clearance downfield, neatly brought down by Pepe. Back it comes to Doué, and now Kusanu. Rolls it back to Yahia Fofana. He squares it across to Agbadou, and now Ghislaine Konat. Ball played down that left-hand side, looking for Diomande. Does well to keep it in play. Now he can turn. He floats a good ball out to this near side. Now space for Pepe here. Moller-Wolfer up against it, but he gets into the area. Oh, well, gave it to Doué, who then took it outside of the area. Nice 1-2 though. They're inside the penalty area. Has that run out of play? I think it did. Yeah, that was looking dangerous there from the Ivory Coast, but just a poor choice made. Pepe nudged the ball into the penalty area, and then Doué decided to take it back out, and that sort of killed the move, really. Pepe doing a 1-2 there with Sangare, but the ball from Sangare just too strong, and it just ran out of play. 18 minutes gone, 0-0. Both teams are looking good. This is going to be a fascinating contest. Two good footballing teams with some talented players. Now this is Pedersen. Now Aya rolls it back to Nyland. Now this is Hegem, just outside of his penalty area. David Moller-Wolfer back to Hegem. And again, Norway just happy to keep the ball here at the back. This is Berger back to Nyland. First time pass to Christopher Aya. Great atmosphere inside this stadium, as you might imagine. The West African fans, so they're absolutely brilliant. There's just a sea of colour, of orange, and the drums going, and the dancing and the singing. And then you've got the big block of red for the Norway fans with the Viking helmets and the thunderclaps and the rowing. Excellent stuff. Only at this tournament will you get this. Ball played infield. It misses out Nusa, but it's picked up by Sorloth. Edge of the box, feeds it down this left-hand side. Berger tries to get a cross inside the area, but it's blocked by Doué, and it will go out on this near side. Or will it? Just trying to see what actually happened there. Surloth fed it down that near side in the attempted cross. Now, it was one of those, it was throw into the Ivory Coast, which they throw it downfield, but Berger wins the header. But it's soon back at the feet of the Ivory Coast. Now, can they break down the middle here with Ulai? Now it comes out to Diamande over on that far side. Almost 20 minutes gone here. Entertaining game. It's been a game of few chances, but it's been very good to watch. 0-0. Now here's the ball. Oh, now cuts in field inside the area, shot, and it's in a near post. And that was Ghislaine Conan. He just fed it down that left-hand channel there, and he cut in field, left Pedersen for dead, and then tried a shot from about 10 yards out. It was a fairly tight angle, but it thunders into the side netting. Nyland had it covered. And that's the first real effort in anger that the Ivory Coast have had. Other than that, and the Haaland header, as I say, it's been a game of very few chances, but despite that, it's been far from dull. It's been good to watch. Two sides knocking it around very nicely, very technically competent, both teams. And like I said, really not much between them at all, so it's going to be a tight game. This is Ødegaard. Hegem has it on halfway. 21 minutes gone. A hydration break imminent. This is Noosa on this near side. Feeds it back in field to Patrick Berg. Back to Noosa. Berg once again. Knocks it back to Hegem. Now Christopher Ayer has the ball inside the centre circle. Now Patrick Berg once again on this near side. And again, Norway just... this is the moments where it does get a bit dull, where they're just knocking it across their back four for no apparent reason. Ivory Coast just not getting involved. It does kind of get a bit tedious after a while, but I'm sure there's method to it. This is Hegem now, inside the Ivory Coast half. Ball down this near side for Noosa. Tried to take it round Doué, but it's blocked off his shins and out for a Norway throw on this near side. Just over 22 minutes gone. And it is going to be a corner for the Norwegians. I think it's their first one of the game. Patrick Berg of Bodo Glimt comes across to take this on this near side. First real chance from a set piece here for the Norwegians. Ball whipped in by Berg, headed away with authority by Kusanu. And then there's a bit of a miscommunication there between Noosa and Surloth, which has ended up with Diamande being absolutely clattered there as he tried to get in between the two of them. Well, actually, it was Noosa and Moller Wulfer. And Moller Wulfer just cleared it, and then in the process of that turned his back, and Diamande just ran into him. Nothing malicious in it. He's back up on his feet now. 23 minutes gone. I'm just wondering... wonder no more. I was just about to say, are we in fact going to have a hydration break? Yes, we are. Referee blows his whistle, and it is time for the players to take on some fluids. It's not been a popular thing, this. And people will argue, well, it's not hot, we're under a roof, we're in an air-conditioned stadium. You can understand it if you were playing with the roof off and it was baking hot, but well, ours is not to reason why and all that. So, goalless here at the Dallas Stadium between the Ivory Coast and Norway. It's been a good game, but as I said, a game of very few chances. One falling to Erling Haaland, a header. Didn't really get a lot of power on it. And then a shot from Conan into the side netting. The game after this, later this evening, will be France against Sweden. An all-European affair. That should be an absolute cracker. France very heavily tipped to win the whole thing. But Sweden are no mugs, are they? And you've got the likes of Isak and Gyökeres leading their line. Take them lightly at your peril. We've already seen a couple of shocks. That would be a shock, though, whichever way you slice it. But Sweden, more than capable. But here, it is deadlocked. There is not much between these two sides on paper and in the rankings. And it's played out so far on the field. Both teams enjoying little spells of possession, and then it transitions to the other team. But it's who's going to make that first big mistake, or who's going to produce that bit of absolute world-class magic. There are players out there more than capable of doing that. So the hydration break is coming to an end. The players are now fanning back out onto the pitch. And we played, well, it's 26 minutes, but we haven't played 26 minutes, but that wasn't a long break, about 3 minutes. So we're about to get back underway. Ivory Coast have the ball on the floor just inside their own half. So first half, part 2. Don't forget that this is an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of this group of 32 game between the Ivory Coast and Norway. And you can follow the match on your local, regional or national TV broadcaster. Ivory Coast 0, Norway 0. Long ball downfield, looking for the run of Diamande, but Aya wins the header, comes out to that far side. Norway win the ball back now, but well, I say that, it's actually gone out of play. Pedersen was romping away with the ball there and had to be called back. Well, I'm not sure the whole ball was over the line there when Sander Berger stabbed it back in field. Anyway, here's Kusanu. He's forced to give it back to Fofana, the keeper, as Haaland was bearing down on him. Fofana then launched the ball downfield up to the halfway line, headed back by Norway, but it's back to the orange shirts. Now they'll be looking to break downfield here. Now then, here's Diamande down that far side, very tight to the touchline. Edge of the penalty area, chips the ball in towards the back post. Oh, and that was a chance. And rather than the shot, he was fed back across the face of the 6-yard box by Pepe and cleared out near the line by Aya. Big puff of the cheeks from the Brentford man there. But that was a super floated ball, and nobody had picked up Pepe at the back post. But he opted to square the ball back across the face of goal rather than go for the shot. And that meant that Aya could clear it away. That was a dangerous moment. And it will be Pepe with the corner here for the Ivory Coast on this near side. Whips it in left-footed. Headed away by the towering Surloff, but it will come back to Pepe on this near side. Whips it in left-footed towards the back post. They've got a man there, but he can't control it. And again, it was Frank Kessier this time. Ball played out very quickly by Norway, which almost caught the Ivory Coast on the hop. This is Surloff, feeds it back to the edge of the area. This is Christopher Aya. And now Hegem. He has space to run into here. Brings it up to the halfway line. This is Mollewolfe. Feeds it down this near sideline to Antonio Nusa. He tries to cut infield, but he's dispossessed on the edge of the box. But they win it back quickly. Now then, here's Ødegaard. Edge of the penalty area. He loses it. And then there's a real tussle for the ball, and the Ivory Coast come away with it. and they nudge it downfield. Now they can hit on the counter. This is Nicolas Pepe roaring down this near side. Twisting, turning, gets to the edge of the box. Ball with the outside of his foot towards the back post, and Pedersen takes no chances and heads it out for another corner. That was a lovely bit of skill from the Villarreal man there. Lovely ball with the outside of his left foot, arcing across the Norway penalty area. They are getting joy down the sides, and it will be a corner now for Jan Diomande. Half an hour gone, still 0-0. So Diomande whips the ball into the area. Well, it's headed out again for another corner. Ødegaard went down in the area. He claims that he was tugged over, but the referee not interested. It was the head of Ayer which put that out for the corner. So another attempt here for the Ivory Coast. Jan Diomande once again. Ball whipped in, headed away with authority by Haaland, but it will come back out to Diomande on that far side. Plays it into the area, gets a 1-2, but is dispossessed by Nusa. But Nusa's touch goes straight to an orange shirt, and then an even heavier touch by Pepe over on that far side, and it goes out for a goal kick. So 31 on the clock. Tight game here, as have the last two been. Of course, they all went all the way to penalties. Paraguay against Germany and Morocco against the Netherlands. Don't remember, of course, Morocco got to the semi-finals in the last edition of the World Cup. They shocked the world, or did they? They have an incredibly strong side themselves these days, and you have to think it's only a matter of time, really, that one day an African nation will win this tournament. But as of yet, it's not happened, but it is edging closer. Header by Sørloth. He gets the header back from Haaland over on that far side. Now Sander Berge. That's nice, quick, one-touch football there from Norway inside the Ivory Coast half. Molle Wolfer. He comes back to Tjøbjørn Heggem. Now Sander Berge. This is Heggem once again. Molle Wolfer on this near side, tussling with Pepe. Gets the ball back to Heggem. It was good pressing there from the Ivory Coast, and now they sit on the halfway line, not literally. Heggem doesn't really know what to do with it. Comes out to Nusa on this near side with the bleached blonde hair. He cuts infield, floats a great crossfield ball to Sørloth, but that's careless from him. Loses possession. Now Diomande picks it up, stretches those long legs down the far side, feeds it into the area. Bonny has it, and it's blocked, and it will go out for another corner off Heggem this time. And just at the moment, the Ivory Coast on top in this game. This will be the fifth corner of the game, and they are starting to ask a few questions now of Norway, and all that came from a poor bit of play from Sørloth. Not the most gifted technically, and it will be a corner once again on that far side, and it will be Jan Diomande once more. But the Norwegians, a very tall side, getting these cover. He's gone along the floor this time, and that's clever. They get the ball back, they have it on the edge of the area. Now then, he's now on this near side. They're forced out of the penalty area, and Ulai almost takes the ball out of play. Kusanu. Now then, Kessié trying to get him round the back. He's won another corner, this time off the foot of Patrick Berg. Corner taken short and quick. Ulai back to Kessié. He whips the ball into the area, headed away by Haaland again, and then a volley is, it's a bit of a powder puff job that. It floated high up in the air, straight into the arms of Nyland. 34 minutes gone. Ståle Stalbakken looking stony faced in his red t-shirt and glinting bald head. Here's Hegem. Just nudging the possession stats at the moment, the Ivory Coast, 49% to Norway's 46. 5 with no side controlling. Nyland's clearance downfield is a poor one, goes out of play, just shy of the halfway line. And Conan will take the throw-in. Goes back to Agbadou. Now the diminutive Inoa Ulai. Kessier out to this near side. Now then, here's Doué. Tried to float it in round the back, but has he won another corner near the corner flag? No, it's I think it might be a throw-in this time, but it will be for Norway. The Norwegian fans trying to get their team motoring here. The hand clap starting. In fact, it's a goal kick for Norway. Nyland takes it, lashes it downfield. Sorloth leaps high, glances the header infield, but only as far as Sangare. His header is returned back by Sander Berger. And he gets the ball back from an Ivory Coast header, then promptly gives the ball away. Not keeping the ball as well, Norway, inside the Ivory Coast half. But as I've said that, they've won the ball back there with Noosa. Back to Hegem. Now here's Ayer. 36 minutes gone. Still 0-0. You're listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of this round of 32 game between the Ivory Coast and Norway. As Norway come forward now, this is Sorloth over on that far side, tight to the touchline, up against Conan. Gets round the back of him, gets the cross in from the byline, headed by Haaland, but there's no power on it. And it was into the ground and sits up nicely for Fofana. Second header of the game for the big blonde City striker. But again, he was sort of reaching backwards there. Couldn't get any power on it, despite his size and his strength. And there's a foul now inside the Ivory Coast half on Diomande. Don't like to see him gesturing with a card. Let the referee do his job. It will be a free kick to the Ivory Coast, halfway inside their own half. Coming up to 37 minutes gone. It's been a game of few chances. Two-headed efforts from Haaland, neither of which were ever going to trouble the goalkeeper. Ivory Coast have looked dangerous, but have not really tested Nyland yet at all. They've come close. Long ball downfield by Pepe. Bonny now tussling on the edge of the area. He manages, well, he tried to shield it, he almost did, but Norway are back in numbers to wrestle the ball away from him. This is Patrick Berg down the line, flick round the corner by Noosa. Now then, Berg comes roaring down this near side. They double up on him, but he gets the ball away to Noosa. Now he comes downfield, edge of the area, squares it across here. This is Ødegaard, left-footed strike, which is blocked on the edge of the area. The rebound is gathered by Berger. Well, this is Pedersen. Now Sorloth. How can Norway respond here? Pedersen once again. They're inside the Ivory Coast half. This is Sander Berger. Now Martin Ødegaard with the blue captain's armband on, just slows things down, drags the ball back towards the halfway line. Ayer back to Ødegaard. Now he plays a ball downfield, and it's a good one, picked up by Berger. Now then, Moller-Wulfer. This is Noosa, edge of the penalty area on the side, squares it back in field to Patrick Berg. And it's Norway keeping the ball well. Noosa, he gets it back again in space this time on this near side, works it in. Oh, what a strike! What a strike! Right-footed from the side of the penalty area, and it curls into the top right-hand corner. What a glorious strike from Antonio Noosa. They worked the ball back to him. This time he had the space. He cut in on his right foot about a yard into the area. He decided to take the shot, and it curled right into the top bin on that far right-hand side. Pass for Fofana. Beautiful goal from the Leipzig striker. Cuts it inside. And Pepe just stood off him for too long, and he picked his spot. Fabulous finish from Antonio Nusa. Norway have the lead here in Dallas. Ivory Coast 0, Norway 1. And that will be right up there of one of the goals of the tournament so far. Beautiful finish from Nusa. And it sends the Norwegian fans into raptures. And as I said, this Norway side, many feel that they can go a long way in this tournament. They've not been here for a long time. They've been in the doldrums for years. They've just not had a strong squad at all. And then obviously with the likes of Haaland and Ødegaard coming along. And it's made a real difference. I say when you look across the squad, all the players in this starting 11 are playing for all the top teams in Europe, Serie A and the Premier League, La Liga, the Bundesliga. There's only Patrick Berg in this starting 11 that plays in his own country, but Bodo Glimt are one hell of a side as they shocked the world in the Champions League last season. Now then, they come down this far side again. This is Pedersen trying to get away here. Gets it to the edge of the area. It's whipped in left-footed. Glancing header. Haaland! Oh, he's missed it. It fell for him on the edge of the 6-yard box. I think it might have taken a deflection because that seemed all too easy. Ball was whipped in. Surloff peeled to the back post. Great header. It fell for Haaland. Yes, it did. Little volley from 4 yards out. And Ibrahim Sangare got across, stuck out a leg and stopped it from going in. Well, we waited over half an hour for a goal and we almost got two there in 3 minutes. Such is the way. Patrick Berg now with the corner for Norway. They've got the bit between their teeth here now, and it comes! Oh, floated to the back post, and it missed Surloff's head. And then I think Haaland came roaring in at the back post, and he couldn't get a toe on the end of it. Brilliant corner. Yeah, well, actually, it was a glancing header from Surloff. Haaland couldn't get to it. Hegem was over the dead ball line when it did hit his head. But all of a sudden, Norway have come roaring to life here. Goal kick Ivory Coast. Yahia Fofana of Rijzerspor with the goal kick. Headed back deep into the Ivory Coast half. This is Kona. Ball in field to Kessié. Now Agbadou. Long raking ball downfield, but it's only going to sail all the way through to the feet of Erjan Nyland. He just brings the ball to ground and then just casually rolls it out to Christopher Ayer. Now Ødegaard dropping deep to pick up the ball. Now the rangy figure of Sander Berger. Moller Wolfer. Now here's the goal scorer Nusa on this near side. Well, that's a loose ball from him, and it's gone straight to Bonny. He cuts in field, but they got across in numbers there and just crowded him out. But they pick up the second ball here, the Ivory Coast. Now they have it over on that far side. Can they work it in here? Conan, he's going to get a corner there. And they come roaring back here, the Ivory Coast. Just a bit of loose play there from Nusa, which set all that in motion. And they were very quickly inside that penalty area. And it'll be Diamande once again. 6th or 7th corner of the first half for the Ivory Coast, who have been good in this first half, but they trail. Whipped in by Diamande, punch clear by Nyland. Comes back to Conan, back out to that far side now to Diamande. Plays a great ball into the box here. Now they have it on this near side. Oh, that was a real waste from Kessié. He says that got a deflection and should be a corner, and it is going to be a corner on this near side. And it'll be Pepe who will take it. Inside the final minute of normal time. Ivory Coast trailing here by 1-0. A stunner from Antonio Nusa on 40 minutes. Now then, Pepe whips the ball in once again. Towering header by Haaland. It goes sideways across the edge of the area. Bonny's gone down in the air. He's back up on his feet now, claiming he was fouled. And then Nusa is actually fouled over on that far side. The ball goes out of play. Will this be a free kick to the Norwegians over on the far side? Referee just fielding complaints. Well, they're claiming there was a tug on the shirt there. I think it was Inoa Ulai, but it looked a bit theatrical. It's just gone out for a Norwegian throw, which Pedersen will take. I think they might have had a little chat upstairs there, but there's no case to answer. Sørloth, cushion header infield, but it goes straight to an orange shirt. Now then, they come downfield once again. 4 minutes of added time, by the way. And then there's a foul there by Nusa on Doué. Took his legs out right from under him, and that'll be a yellow card for the Leipzig man. Yeah, just left a trailing leg there on Doué. Clumsy challenge from the Norwegian goal scorer. This is in a good position, this free kick now, for the Ivory Coast. On this near side, Pepe standing over it. It's about, let's say 25 yards out, maybe a little less. And it's level with the edge of the side of the penalty area, if you see what I mean. So the left-footed Pepe, everybody on the edge of the box. This is going to be whipped in towards the back post. In it goes. Glancing header down. Oh, it's just wide of the far post, of that left-hand post. That was a close one, and it goes out for a goal kick. Just trying to see who got the head on that one. Yeah, it was a glancing header there from Emmanuel Agbadou. But it went wide of the post by about a yard. That's probably the best chance they've had so far. And the former Wolves man coming close to levelling things up just before half-time. 2 minutes of the added 4 already elapsed. Long clearance downfield. Sørloth with the flick-on header, but he can't find Haaland. And it goes out of play for a Norwegian throw anyway, near the halfway line, taken quickly. It was Pedersen. Back to Christopher Ayer. And he will roll it back to Nyland. First time pass to Hegem, edge of the penalty area. Now he's got a lot of space to bring it forward, which he does. This is Molenwolfe on this near side, cuts in field on his left foot. Little short pass to Sander Berger. Pretty much sets up shop inside the centre circle, just controlling everything. This is Ayer. Now Pedersen once again, back to Ayer. Pedersen from that far side. This time he opts for the long ball down the right channel. But Sørloth won't get to it before Agbadou does. He rolls it back to Fofana. He wastes no time in clearing it out to this near side. And Pepe wins the throw-in, or does he put the ball out of play? Oh right, I thought he'd come off Nusa. So throw in here for Norway on the near side, inside the final minute now of this first half. This is Molenwolfe, throws it to the side of the penalty box, brought down by Berg. Nusa tries to nudge it back in field, but it's come off him after it hit Doué. Doué takes the throw in quickly for the Ivory Coast. Norway win the header on halfway. Head tennis ensues, but it's picked up by Bonny, but he's quickly dispossessed by Patrick Berg. Final few seconds now here in Dallas in this first half. What's been an absorbing contest. And that is in fact... Oh no, I thought the half-time whistle had gone there. And now that is half-time. And half-time. So, yeah, we've got half-time. It is 1-0 to the Norwegians. Stunning goal from Antonio Nusa. The difference between the sides in Dallas. It's been a fascinating game, and it's going to be equally as exciting and tense in the second period. We'll be back in 15 minutes for full second half coverage. Do not go away. Well, welcome back to the Dallas Stadium. We are back underway just here. This is a round 32 clash between the Ivory Coast and Norway. I'm Joe Mills. Thank you for your company. And don't forget that you are listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of this game. And you can follow this match on your local, regional or national TV broadcaster. So 1-0 to Norway after a pretty absorbing first half. Not many chances in it. Both teams played some good stuff though, closely matched, but it was a stunning goal from Antonio Nusa into the top corner just before half-time, which separates the two sides. Norway all in white, Ivory Coast all in orange, trimmed with green, and Jesus Venezuela of Venezuela is our match referee. So, throw-in over on the far side for Norway, taken by the captain Ødegaard, flicked round the corner by Nusa, trying to find Erling Haaland. Norway finishing that first half very strongly after it was a bit of a stalemate for a while. This is Conan, now Jan Diomande, and he's fouled about 10 yards outside his own penalty area there by Pedersen. So free kick taken quickly by Sangare. Now Kusanu onto that far right hand side to the feet of Pepe. Now Anjoan Boni, he's not really had much to feed off so far, the Inter Milan striker, and he's got himself in trouble here. Almost loses the ball inside his own half. He was forced back in there. And the ball hammered downfield, but it's chested down calmly by Ayo. He rolls it back to Nyland, who rather nonchalantly chips it back over this, down to this near side, and it goes out for a throw-in actually for Norway, although Ulai felt that he was fouled there by Pedersen, and let the referee know it too. Anyway, ball back at the feet of Christopher Ayer, and he's being hassled here all the way, and he thought the ball had gone out of play, but the Ivory Coast have won it back here. That's brilliant pressing and harrying, but then the momentum goes with a loose pass which has sent them back inside their own half. Well, that was really good aggressive pressing there from the Ivory Coast, who are very much still in this. Agbadou across to Kusanu of Atalanta. Now this is Guela Doué to Kusanu. Now Sangare just shy of the halfway line, and again Ivory Coast just slowing things down now. This is Inoi Ulai back across the field to Kusanu. So we have these little periods where each team will just knock the ball sideways across the back four for a couple of minutes, and the opponents will just let them do it. Anyway, they get the ball down this near side. Ball whipped in well there by Conan. It fizzes across the penalty area, but it's gathered in by Pepe over on the near side. He has the ball at the byline now, trying to work it back to the edge of the area. Ball thundered in across the edge of the 6-yard box. Avoids Nyland. No one there to put it home. Conan. Now then, Diomande, little short ball into the edge of the 6-yard box. And the Ivory Coast, have they won a corner? They've had about 9 already in this game. But that was a good ball in. Nyland got a fingertip to it as it fizzed across the edge of his 6-yard box. And it is a corner for the Ivory Coast. That ball is not touching the corner quadrant line. It's actually on the dead ball line, but it's not touching the quadrant line. And if I can see it, why can't the linesman see it? It drives me mad. Just put the ball on the line. That is not touching the quadrant line, and that is effectively an illegal corner. Referee is now coming over to have a look, and he's telling Diomande to put it on the line. Why couldn't you just do that in the first place? And now he's moved it back about 30 centimetres. Utterly ridiculous. Corner comes in, headed away from the edge of the 6-yard box. You see it all the time, not just in this competition, but the world over, and it drives me insane. Just put the ball on the line. That's why the line is there. Constantly seeing corners with the ball just put outside the line, and they let them get away with it time and time again. I mean, what's the point? It's millimetres in the end. Ball whipped in from the far side into the Norway area. Bonny heads the ball down, but in the wrong direction, and that allows Norway to intercept it. Now the offside flag has gone up anyway against Douay, and it will be a free kick. That was a lovely bit of skill there from Douay. Leapt in the air and then controlled the ball mid-air with his opposite foot, just cushioned it. Just over 50 minutes gone here at the Dallas Stadium in Arlington, Texas, in this round 32 clash. Ivory Coast 0, Norway 1. Ball played down this near side for the run of Diomande. Two white shirts come across, and it's thundered out by Aya for yet another corner for the Ivory Coast, who are turning the screw now. I think it's gone out for a throw-in, actually, very close to the corner flag, my mistake. Here's Inoa Ulai, whips the ball to the edge of the area, but it's headed away by Hegem. Now brought down by Surloth. But again, clumsy, can't control the ball, gives away a throw-in. Taken quickly by Conan. Now Sangare. Yes, I think Esmauri Fight has had a word at half-time. Now, they didn't play badly, but they've come out with a fire in the belly here. Ball whipped across the area there by Conan, bit too strong, and then it's headed away, and then a rather eccentric attempt at a volley there from Sangare from 35 yards out, and that has gone high into the stand. And out for a goal kick. France against Sweden to come later. That is a real mouth-watering clash. And it's been a bad 24 hours for the European sides. Germany and Holland both going out shock exits on penalties after extra time. Obviously, Norway will be looking to redress the balance there, and then of course we've got an all-European clash between France and Sweden, so another European side is going to find themselves going home at the end of this day's play. Anyway, they have it on halfway. But the Ivory Coast flying the flag for Africa today. They'll be desperate to get through to the next stage. Morocco already there representing the African nation so far. Ball back now at the feet of Mollewulfer. Now Ødegaard, dropping deeper all the time, has it on the edge of his own area, sends it back to Nyland, and that's calm and composed, and neat one-touch football by the Norwegians. Ødegaard brings it forward now. Pedersen, but he's being hassled again there by Diomande. Back towards his own goal, but he swivels, turns, plays a long ball downfield, but it's poorly cleared. Now then, Ødegaard coming forward down the middle of the pitch. Here he's got options left and right. This is Nusa, nudges it down that side of the penalty area. The chipped cross, it misses everybody and goes out to the far side of the penalty area, and Fofana, the keeper, rushes across to gather it in. Chance there for Norway on the counter, but they didn't take it. Obviously, as this game goes on, the spaces will start to open up. Here is Goella Doué on that far side. Now Nicolas Pepe. 54 minutes gone. Norway still leading by a goal to nil. Now then, here's Inoa Ulai out to this near side to Conan. Gets it back to Inoa Ulai, floats the ball out to that far side, chested down neatly by Pepe, up against Mollewulfer, nudges it to the edge of the area, a shot come crossing, rebound, and it's a good save from Nyland at his near post off Pepe. Ball comes back out. Ivory Coast had it, but a loose touch there has allowed Nusa to pinch the ball and eventually win a throw-in over on the far side. But that's the first real shot that the Ivory Coast have had in anger. It was whipped in by Doué, not cleared by Hegem. Came back out to the edge of the 6-yard box, and it was fired in by Pepe. And Nyland got across to his near post and blocked it with his knees. They certainly have been the better side in this second half, the Ivory Coast. But Norway now find themselves on the counter, trying to pick out Haaland there in the left-hand part of the box. They're claiming a handball, but the referee not interested, and the ball breaks over to that far side for Ibrahim Sangare. Roll it back to the edge of the box. Kusanu. And now Emmanuel Agbadou. This is Conan now on this near side. Diamande to Inoa Ulai. Now back to Frank Kessier. They have it on halfway. They're playing very nicely here, the Ivory Coast. It is on a knife edge, this game. Both teams do kind of look dangerous when they're going forward. And it really is a chess game at the moment. Both teams, then they slow it down, knock it around. The other team said, no, we're not going to bite. We're not going to bite. We're just going to sit. It just goes through these little periods, and then it explodes into life. Conan whips the ball into the edge of the 6-yard box, flicks off the head of Bonny, over to the far side of the area, put back in by Pepe, and then a turn and shot on the edge of the 6-yard box, but he couldn't get any power on it, and it dribbles all the way through to Nyland. But they are definitely asking the questions. But now Norway from that restart, roaring down this left side. Noosa, good ball round the back here. Can they get the cross in? Ball comes back to Noosa over on that far side. Nudges it back in field. Ødegaard felled on the edge of the penalty area, and that will be a free kick to Norway. Right on the apex of the box over on that far side. This is what I mean. It is going backwards and forwards, this game. And the Ivory Coast know they've come out the traps pretty quickly. They know they've got to get an equaliser. Norway happy to just sort of sit back and then hit on the counter. But they have a good chance here with this set piece. 22 yards out, almost to the edge of the penalty area on that left-hand side. Ødegaard standing over the ball. A little three-man wall inside the area. Everyone else on the edge of the box. Can he pick out Haaland here, who is lurking on the edge of the penalty area? So 58 minutes almost on the clock. Can Norway double their lead here? Free kick. Martin Ødegaard. Everyone surges forward. It breaks into the... Oh, and it's saved on the line. Well, I say saved on the line. And there was a bit of a goal-mouth scramble. Everybody had a go at it. And then it just found itself in the hands of Fofana from very close range. I'm not quite sure what happened there. There was that many bodies. Anyway, Ivory Coast survived. Now they come out to this near side. Loads of space here for Conan. Side of the penalty area. Trying to take it round Patrick Berg, but he can't, but he puts it out for a corner. Let's have another look at this. As that free kick came in, it missed the head of Sørloth, and then it hit the arm of Sander Berger, and it just dropped at the down on the floor to the keeper gratefully. Corner taken short. Ball chipped into the area, but it's been blocked. And I think that was by Noosa, who took that in the face. He's okay now, though. A lovely little chip over the top by Unai Ule. Now Diamande on this near side. Ball near the dead ball line, but he works it back up towards the edge of the area. Squared infield now. Long range shot, but it's awful. Rosette. That's what happens when you let centre halves have a dig. Emmanuel Agbadou. High over the crossbar, but Ivory Coast having a real dig here. They have played really well. As I say, even though they're trailing, there is not much between these two sides at all. It's a very level game, which could go either way. Bonny comes off, he's been frustrated, and Manchester United's Diallo, I think he's coming on, or have I got that wrong? Well, I thought I saw him coming on. It's going to be Elie Wahi of Nice who will replace him. I thought it was Diallo. for a moment there. This is Pedersen. Now Norway have it, edge of the Ivory Coast box. Haaland there, tried to win the ball. He was a sandwich between two players, but it's cleared away. Yeah, I wasn't dreaming that. Diallo is on. It's Inoa Ulai who's come off for him. That's a relief. I thought I was going mad there for a minute. Ball thrown infield. Norway now tight to the touchline with Ødegaard. And that's a foul on Conan. Ødegaard can't quite believe it. Gets up in the face of the linesman. You can't be doing that. Just to remind you, you're listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of this round of 32 game in this, the world's biggest football tournament. And don't forget, you can follow this match on your local, regional or national TV broadcaster. We are live from the Dallas Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And it is Ivory Coast 0, Norway 1. And we have played just over an hour. Can Norway get through to the round of 16? Here's Diamande. He'll have thoughts about that for the Ivory Coast. Edge of the penalty box on the side here. Tried to weave his way through, but Ayer blocks him. Sorloth. Now then, Patrick Berg. Out to Moller Wulfer on that far side. Plays a good ball round the back for Berg. Tight to the touchline. Nudges it round the back of Kessier. And that's a good sliding tackle there on Ødegaard, which fells him, but it was perfectly fine. Got the ball first. And now Pepe. Ball comes infield. Ivory Coast really starting to ask questions now. Here's Amad Diallo of Manchester United. Lovely little reverse pass round the back there. He's found Kessier. He squares it into the area looking for Wahi. But Hegem was there first, but they've lost the ball again, Norway, inside their own half. This is Conan, centre field, halfway inside the Norwegian half. They're hanging on a little bit, Norway, here. This is Kessier. Fair play to the Ivory Coast. Cutting field now, edge of the penalty area, forced a little bit further back up the pitch. Now Sangare, he will walk it forward, 30 yards out. Feeds a nice ball through to the edge of the area to Diamande. Gets it on his left foot, tries to fizz a pass across the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's intercepted by Hegem before it could go through to Diallo, who was waiting. Only seen a bit of sublime skill from Diallo. Little drag back and back heel. And again, I'm looking at this corner from Diamande, and he's done exactly what he did the last time. He's put the ball on the dead ball line. It is not touching the quadrant line. Again. Why can't you just put the ball on the quadrant line? And again, the referee's coming over to speak to him. And again, he's telling him to move the ball back. And he does. It's just ridiculous. Why couldn't he have just done that in the first place? 6 inches. Ball whipped in, punched away to the side of the penalty area over on the far side. Whipped back in again, headed up high in the air, this time by Haaland, and then there's a bit of pinball and he gets the ball clear downfield. Norway just hanging on grimly at the moment. And then the header downfield, Haaland trying to chase it down, but Fofana way out of his goal to get to it first, and he hammers it downfield and out for a throw. If I'm going on about it, I'm sorry, but it really drives me mad. When you think it's just 6 inches, and he knows he needs to put it on the line, and yet he doesn't put it on the line. It's either arrogance or ignorance. It's one of the two. Anyway, Ivory Coast have it on halfway. 64 minutes gone. Norway still have that precious lead through the stunning goal of Antonio Nusa on 41 minutes. But the Ivory Coast have come out very positively in this second half and are asking a lot of questions. Ball chipped over the top there, and not a bad one. And Nyland, though, quickly off his line to snuff that one out. Quick release now. Ødegaard plays a good ball down the right channel. Sorloth gets to it first, but then Agbadou got across in front of him and puts it out for a corner. A chance for Norway. Their fans bobbing up and down behind the goal. They're having a great time. They've waited a long time for this, Norway, and what a place to come for your first World Cup in what seems like forever. To the US of A, and Mexico and Canada, of course, but they played most of their games in the States. So corner, Ødegaard. He puts the ball on the line where it should be. Left-footed, whips it into the area. Well, what's happened here? Referee's blown his whistle. I think there's a bit of shenanigans going on inside the penalty area of pushing and shoving. There's no surprise. I actually think the referee, he blew his whistle before Ødegaard took the corner, so it's going to be a retake. Ødegaard once more, whips it in, glancing header, oh, it's cleared off the line! That should have been two. It was Pedersen who came in at the back post and his shot was blocked on the line. Goodness me, and now it's on the edge of the Norwegian box and they put it out for a throw-in. And, well, despite all the dominance in the last 5-10 minutes, Norway almost doubled their lead there. Now the referee's talking to VAR. Christopher Ayer is in the face of the referee. He feels something went on there. But the corner came in. Glancing header from Sørloth. Pedersen at the back post. His shot was blocked on the line. Nothing to answer. The ref says, let's get on with it. Throw taken by the Ivory Coast. This is hotting up now. 67 minutes gone. That would have been a little bit harsh on the Ivory Coast if that would have gone in. But at this level, you have to take your chances. Wahi can't control that with his back to goal. Ball breaks out on that far side for Noosa. He's foul, but the referee plays advantage. Haaland flicks it round the corner for Patrick Berg out on that far side. He will bring it forward now. They're in retreat here, the Ivory Coast. Here's Noosa, side of the penalty area. Gets a cross in. It's headed away and out of the box, but the offside flag has gone up. And it will be a free kick. And now it's actually going to be a water break. Or a hydration break. Well, the Ivory Coast have come out very, very positively in this second half. And for me, have been just about the better team. But football is as football does, and Norway almost doubled the lead there on that corner. But as things stand, we're halfway through this second half, and the Norwegians have that precious one-goal lead, courtesy of that stunning goal from Antonio Noosa on the left-hand side of the penalty area, and he curled it beautifully into the top corner past the despairing dive of Yahia Fofana. But they've responded well, the Ivory Coast. You still feel they've got a goal in them. But Norway, well, maybe they'll live to rue that miss there from Pedersen. Well, I say miss, it was just well defended, blocked on the line. But what Norway haven't managed to do so far, and whisper it quietly, is put a really good chance in for Erling Haaland. But we know he can take one just like that. That's the brilliance of the man. He's had two attempted headers, but neither of them were easy. I think they're appealing there for a handball on the line when that... it was a flick on there by Sørloth. Well, what happened was the shot came in, it was actually Hegem, and Diallo was on the line. Or are they appealing for the fact that Christopher Ayer was shoved over at the back post by Goela Doué, which he appeared to be. But it's a moot point now, because that was a while ago and things have moved on since then. So hydration break complete, 70 minutes on the clock. We're now in the final furlong of this game, the final quarter if you like. Here at the Dallas Stadium, we've got the roof on, great atmosphere. And just to remind you, you are listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of this round of 32 game. And make sure that you're watching the game through your local, regional or national TV broadcaster. So, hydration break complete. And the two sides make their way back out into the middle of the pitch. And Norway are going to use this opportunity to make a double change. Fulham's Oscar Bob is coming on for the goal scorer Nusa, and Andreas Sheldrup is also coming on the field. And I'm just waiting to see who he's replacing. And it's Alex Sorloth has come off, and Sheldrup of Benfica is the man to replace him. Meanwhile, it's a free kick to the Ivory Coast, just outside their own penalty area. And the keeper Fofana, all in spearmint green, drills it downfield here, looking for the run, the willing run of Diamande, who gets to it first, knocks it back to Conan. Now, Diallo gets the ball back to the edge of the area, shot comes in, it's blocked there. Norway can now release down this near side with Oscar Bob of Fulham, formerly of Manchester City. Now Aya, long clearance downfield, down that right channel, looking for the run of Haaland, but it was well defended by Agbadou. Kessié, and now Ibrahim Sangare. And again, Norway just get back into their defensive shape. 72 minutes gone. And it's still 1-0 to the Norwegians. The game slowed right down again here. Ivory Coast just have the ball at their feet. It has been a real back and forth, but this second half absolutely dominated by the Ivory Coast. They cannot break Norway down at the moment. That's a good ball played forward, but it's loosely controlled, and now Norway will look to break. Haaland nudges it back to Sander Berge. Now this is Moller Wolfer. Back into his own box to Hegem. Squares it across to the keeper Nyland, who needs to get rid of it quickly because Wahi was bearing down on him. Floats it out to Pedersen, chests it down, but he's outpaced by Jan Diomande. Now we're getting the rowing from the Norwegian fans behind the goal, and then they stand up and applaud themselves. 73 gone. Ivory Coast still probing. Doué over on that far side. And the ball comes back to Kusanu. Gets it back from Kessié. Sangare being hassled here by Ødegaard. Sangare peels away from him, gets the ball out wide to Diallo on that right hand side. Plays a 1-2, gets in round the back, edge of the 6-yard box. Oh, that's outstanding! That is outstanding from Amad Diallo. Played the 1-2, got the ball back, side of the 6-yard box, and drills it across the face of goal into the bottom left-hand corner. You will not see a better and more skillful goal than that. And the Manchester United youngster has levelled this game, and that has been coming. 74 minutes gone, Ivory Coast 1, Norway 1. That was magnificent. Amad Diallo, absolutely brilliant. Started on the right-hand side, beautiful little 1-2. He ghosted in, round the back of Pedersen, and then drop of the shoulder, cut back across the edge of the 6-yard box, and left-footed strike. Goodness me. Oh, he did Moller Wolfer there. And then the little nudge to the side got him away from Sander Berge, and then he drilled it from close range into the far corner. That is some skill from the youngster. Not just for the 1-2 and then getting round the back of Moller Wolfer, but it was a little feint then to the left, which oversold Berge. and allowed him to get his shot off. And he wasn't missing from there. So we have a game now, 1 apiece. Surely we're not going to have another 1-1 draw. Excuse me. 75 minutes gone. How will Norway respond? Because they have been very quiet in this second half. Maybe that will nudge them into life here. They have had a couple of half chances. One cleared off the line, of course, but in terms of possession, Ivory Coast have dominated this second period. They have a throw-in, though, Norway, on this near side. Taken quickly by Pedersen, brought down by Ødegaard, fed infield to Sander Berge. Now then, this is Patrick Berg. Comes out to Schjelderup on that wide left-hand side. Back infield to Sander Berge. Now Ødegaard inside the centre circle. Across to Pedersen on this near side, and now it's Norway. Just keeping possession here. Using the back line. Assessing what the Ivory Coast are going to do, but they're not budging at the moment. So we have a bit of an impasse here. Here's Berger inside the centre circle, feeds it forward. Nice little turn from Haaland, and it comes out to Schjelderup on the far side. Little chip over the top into the area, then it's nudged in towards the penalty area, but they couldn't control it. Oh, goodness me, it was Ødegaard. That was some sublime skill there from Norway. Beautiful flick over the top off the toe there. Just used his toe to flick it up there, did Schjelderup. And then it was off the side of the boot. Floated into the penalty area, but Ødegaard couldn't control it. This is Berger now, edge of the penalty area. Back out to Pedersen on this near side. Yes, he does. He gets away from Diamande. Gets the cross in from the byline. A glancing header goes out of the box. Now then, Ivory Coast will look to break downfield here. It's 3 against 2, but that was a poor pass from Wahi. It's gone way out wide. Pepe nudges it round the back. Wahi, little back heel. Pepe goes down in the box, but it's not a foul. And suddenly the game has come to life here, as both sides know they want to try and get this one before the final whistle and extra time. Nobody wants that, surely. Here's Ødegaard on halfway. Suddenly Norway, as predicted, are suddenly coming to life here. This is Schjelderup down that left-hand side. Feeds the ball back in field. Edge of the area. Ødegaard has to skip across over to the left-hand side. Schjelderup once again, side of the box. A few little stammers and step-overs, but he's forced backwards. Berger, back to Schjelderup. Right-footed, floats the ball in, but it's poor. Straight into the arms of Yahia Fofana. Rolls the ball out quickly. And now Jan Diamande, the man in Demande, coming down this left-hand side. It's like a Rolls Royce of a player. Nudges it to the byline, squared across the box, but it hits Aya. But I think the offside flag had gone up anyway, so it will be a free kick to Norway inside the penalty area. Yeah, no case to answer there on Pepe. Slight touch from Schjelderup, but referee not interested. 78, almost 79 minutes gone here in Dallas. Ivory Coast 1, Norway 1. Here comes Pedersen down this near side. Now Oscar Bob feeds it infield, space here for Ødegaard. 25 yards out, back out to this near side. Pedersen whips the ball into the area, and it's high off the boot of Kusanu. Just floats high in the air, but they don't defend it well there, the Ivory Coast. Picked up by Norway again. This is Pedersen on this near side. And suddenly now Norway stung into life with that equaliser. Ødegaard. Now Bob. Just puts the ball under his foot. Assesses his options, gets the ball back. Nice ball round the back for Berger, but that was well read by Agbadou, but his clearing ball was poor. Norway did win it back briefly, but then it's hammered downfield by the Ivory Coast up to the halfway line, where it will be gathered in by Moller Wulfer. Now out to this far left-hand side. This is Schjelderup again, up against Doué. Cuts in on that right foot. stops in his tracks, squares it across to Berger, 30 yards out. Now Ødegaard, edge of the penalty area. Thing is, Norway here, they're just taking too many touches. They had a chance there at least twice to get a shot off, but they're trying to walk the ball into the net, it seems. This is Pedersen once again, but his touch is heavy, and that allows Conan to defuse that situation. And now Sangare, well, his clearing ball hits a Norway player, but it bounced kindly back into Diamande, and now it was Ahmad who's gone down, clutching his side. Clutching his left-hand side there, the Manchester United winger. And the scorer of the equalising goal. Just 9 minutes of normal time remaining, plus the hydration break time. Well, he's in a bit of pain here, is Ahmad. Not quite sure what happened, but he's really suffering here. Only been on the field for 10 minutes. I mean, what a contribution he's made. But I'm not overly sure what happened to him there. Either way, he's responsible for the Ivory Coast being level in this game while he receives some treatment here. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty with the nerves and the tension. He's back up on his feet. He'll have to come off momentarily. Referee telling him just that. Clock nudging its way towards 82 minutes. Norway have a throw, which they deliberately put out of play so that the Ivory Coast get the ball back for a throw themselves. Diallo waiting to come on. Conan will have this throw for the Ivory Coast. 1-1. Last two games have been 1-1. We don't want another one. Berger wins that header, and then it's headed out. Well, Ahmad's not back on yet. He's getting some magic spray applied to the small of his back. Might have taken a knee in there. Anyway, they're going to make a change, I think, and I think it's the Ivory Coast who's going to make a change. Let me just double check. No, it's Norway. Pedersen is coming off and Fredrik Åsne is coming on. Throw-in taken quickly by the Ivory Coast. 83 minutes gone here in Dallas. Game is on a knife edge, one apiece. And remember, you're listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of this round of 32. You can follow this match on your local, regional and national TV broadcaster. Frank Kessié loses, well, the foul there. He almost lost the ball and then fouled Ødegaard in trying to win it back. Norway take it quickly. They're in a hurry here. Ødegaard. Now this is Åsne. Need to get Haaland in this game. Norway's barely had a sniff in this second half. He's wandering around on the edge of the area, shoulders hunched. But don't be fooled by that. Here's Moller Wolfer. Now Sheldrup on that far left-hand side. Up against Doué again. Rolls it back up the field. This is Ødegaard. 30 yards out in centre field. Switches the play over to this near side. Here's the bald-headed Åsne. Back to Ajer inside the centre circle. Berger. Hegem. And it comes out to Sheldrup again on that far side. Just working it side to side at the moment. Doesn't seem to be a great deal of urgency. This is Sheldrup again. Cuts in on that right foot. Tries to float it into the edge of the area. Diamande defends it, but the header comes back out to Moller Wolfer on that far side. Here's Berger again. Now Moller Wolfer. Just waiting to pounce here, Norway. That's a nice ball down the side from Ødegaard. Cross comes in, is blocked, and it will go out for a Norwegian throw near the corner flag on that far side. Sheldrup will have to take it because you only got 5 seconds. And Norway have it again. This is Sheldrup. Ball comes back once again to Berger. Now Ødegaard rolls it back to the halfway line. Got to get a bit proactive here, Norway. Unless both teams have decided to put the cue on the rack here and go for extra time. That would be very disappointing if that is the case. But Norway here, bit of a white line fever. And that white line being the halfway line. Finally they come forward. This is Orsney. Now Bob cuts in on that left foot, plays a great ball into the box, diagonal ball, squared across, and Haaland taps in. It's as simple as that. You can't keep him out of the game. Erling Haaland, 85 minutes. It was a glorious pass from Oscar Bob from the sideline, a diagonal ball which dissected the back four, and it allowed Norway to get in round the back on the right hand side of the penalty area, and it was squared across. I think it was Patrick Berg, and it was a simple tap in for Erling Haaland from 4 yards out. It was so nonchalant the way he did it too, but what a pass from Oscar Bob. Yeah, it was Patrick Berg. And looking at the replay here, yeah, well, Haaland, yeah, it was so casual that when it came off his boot, he thought he hadn't hit it hard enough, and he started chasing after it. But he did hit it hard enough. But he just had a little moment of doubt there. He certainly didn't put his laces through it. It was a casual side foot from close range, but he actually thought that he'd underhit that for a split second and made to go after it, but no, the ball went over the line. And as I said, he lurks around, shoulders hunched, not had a touch in really in this second half. He shakes his head with a rueful smile. He's like, well, you know, I think they're saying to him, you nearly made a mess of that, mate. Ivory Coast make a change. They bring on Oumar Diakite for Nicolas Pepe. And now, can they force more late drama? Long ball down that left channel, but Nyland is quickly out of his area. Well, after 2 1-1 draws and extra time and penalties, are we going to get a game decided within the 90 minutes? And are Norway going to restore a bit of European pride in this round of 32 after the shock defeats of Germany and the Netherlands, going out to South American and African opposition on penalties? Foul here from Doué on Andreas Sheldrup, who I have to say has been excellent since he's come on. He's looked a real threat down that left-hand side. 88 minutes gone. 2 minutes of normal time plus stoppages. This is Orsney, and Norway here on the brink of something special. This is Bob. Orsney, long ball chipped down that right channel, looking for Haaland, trying to get away from his man. He almost did. They still have the ball here, Norway. This is Ødegaard. Now Bob inside the penalty area, sends it back to Ødegaard. Now Bob once again on this near side, wins his side a throw-in off the boot of Ghislaine Conan. Such a beautiful pass from Oscar Bob. Diagonal ball from the sideline, completely split the defence, allowed Berg to get in round the back, and then a casual side-footed cross along the floor. Again, Ødegaard going nuts at the linesman as these awarded the throw-in to the Ivory Coast. And a simple, casual tap-in, almost too casual, from Erling Haaland from about 3 or 4 yards out. Can Ivory Coast respond again? Time is running out. We're inside the final minute of normal time. Here's Jan Diomande, their star man, coming down this near side. Ball fed infield, edge of the area, but it's well defended by Orsney. And I have to say, all 3 goals have been absolute beauts in all different kinds of ways. Noosa's beautiful curling shot into the top corner. Diallo's Absolutely mesmeric solo effort, jinking in and out of the box. Off break because Norway come forward, nudge down the left channel. Haaland's got him behind the back foot, but he's holding the ball up now with his back to goal, and he can't get his shot away, and it goes out behind for a goal kick. Oh, that could have been a real sucker punch. And then, not the finish for the third goal, but just the build-up. The pass from Bob was absolutely delicious. Well, we're going to get 7 minutes of added time. I'm sorry, there's no way that hydration break was 7 minutes long. But I just realised now we had a bit of again, a fairly lengthy stoppage when Amad Diallo went down with that back injury. And the Ivory Coast will be thankful for that. They have 7 minutes to pull this game out of the fire. That was Diakite. Well, crossfield ball attempted, but it was poor execution. It was blocked by Haaland. Gets the ball out wide now to Patrick Berg on that left-hand side. But Norway now playing it across their back line, but being forced back towards their own goal all the time. Moller Wulfer. Long ball downfield. It will be, you get the feeling, a case of attack versus defence now. Owen almost wasn't dealt with that there by Hegem as the ball was fed to the edge of the area. Wahi almost got through behind him. Went down, ref not interested. Orsney's clearance is blocked. Balloons up high into the air. And now it's gathered in again here by the Ivory Coast. Conan now, edge of the box, tries the chip in over the top, and it's palmed away and then cleared away from the back post. Ivory Coast will gather it over on the far side. That was danger, and it's not over. They're hanging off here, Norway. It's a great cross from Conan. Nyland didn't gather it, it flicked off his fingers, and they had to clear it away from the back post. Ball whipped in again from the Ivory Coast, and well, two men leaping up for the header there, and the Norway player Orsney has gone down as Diamande almost piggybacked him. But it was a great floated ball there, and Nyland didn't cover himself there. He was reaching up for it, flicked his fingers, but it was cleared away by Hegem. 2 minutes of the added 7 gone. Ivory Coast 1. Norway 2. I'm still chuckling at looking at that replay of Erling Haaland there, and he knew, he had that little cheeky grin and he was shaking his head, because I think if one or two of his teammates went, you almost made a mess of that. He's now on 5 goals for the tournament, just one behind Leo Messi and one ahead of Kylian Mbappe. Who says the GOATs don't turn up at big tournaments? Right, double change for the Ivory Coast for this last few moments. Gesand is coming on for Conan, and we're also going to see Jan Diamande has come off. We're also going to see Bazumana Toure of Hoffenheim and Crystal Palace's Evan Gesand. 3 minutes of the added 7 gone. Long clearance downfield. Haaland wins the header, and it's hammered out of play on this near side for a throw into Norway, and they'll be in absolutely no rush to take this. And as is their right, well, they've got 5 seconds once they pick the ball up. Bob muscled off the ball. Now then, Ivory Coast, well, he's done well there, Bob. He gave as good as he got, and he's won the ball back. Now then, Orsney tries to pick up his own ball as he took it round the back of Agbadou. But the Norwegian fans, almost like a living organism behind there, bobbing up and down, swaying. Goal kick Ivory Coast. Fofana, long clearance downfield. Wahi wins the header, but it's picked up now by Bob on this near side, who's upended from behind by Sangare. But the referee says it's no foul, and now Sangare trying to get the ball from inside the technical area. Quick throw back. Some glum faces in orange shirts, but there's still time. Now then, here's Diakite on that near side. Cuts the ball back in field. Gets the ball nice. Tried the 1-2 on the edge of the area. But Norway have given the ball away again inside their own half. Doué whips the ball into the area. Glancing header from a Norwegian defender that was Hegem, and it went all the way through to the back post and then was headed away again by Åsne. And now Norway have won themselves a free kick. Or is it the Ivory Coast? Ødegaard there having a little bit of handbags with Sangare. Now more pushing and shoving. Now Aya gets involved totally unnecessarily. And Aya's completely lost the plot here, getting involved with Wahi, and suddenly the referee has got a little situation on his hands. And there's still pushing and shoving going on. Well, Ødegaard there is what started it, because, well, Sangare then got up and put his face in Ødegaard's face. Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. In fact, the upshot is it's a free kick to the Ivory Coast. Just over 30 yards out, pretty central, just to the left of the penalty spot. This is in a good position. Frank Kessié and Amad Diallo standing over this. You feel it's now or never. 90 seconds remaining. It's Diallo! Oh, tipped over the bar. Brilliant save from Nyland. That was heading into the top left-hand corner. That was outstanding from Diallo again. Oh, what a save from Erlen Nyland, using his opposite arm, his left arm, as he went across to the right-hand side. That is an outstanding save from the Sevilla goalkeeper. Inside the final minute. Diallo, corner, dying seconds. Headed away by Åsne. Then a heavy touch, but the Ivory Coast, they've lost that ball out there. It's going to be a throw-in for Norway on this near side. And that could be absolutely that. What a free kick from Amad Diallo. That was heading top bins, right in the top right-hand corner. What a save from Erlen Nyland. And now the ball back down inside the Ivory Coast penalty area. They've got to get rid of it quickly. 20 seconds. Fofana, long clearance downfield. It sails over the head of everybody. Wahi gets to it first. Then he gets it out wide to this right-hand side. Can they get across in here? The Ivory Coast, brilliant sliding tackle. And the ball goes out of play. It's going to be a corner for the Ivory Coast. Diallo's going to come across. We're now in added time. The keeper's coming forward. He has to. Big, deep breath. Puff of the cheeks from Diallo. This is it now. This has got to be the last action of the game. Can the Ivory Coast get a dramatic late equaliser here to send us into extra time? Diallo pulls his socks up over his kneecaps. It's going to be an in-swinging corner. The stadium holds its breath. The ball is whipped in. Oh, and it wasn't completely dealt with there. Ball breaks out to this far side. Ivory Coast still have it with Doué. And then it's fed back. That is the full-time whistle. And Norway are going through to the round of 16. What a performance. What a game. And the Ivory Coast gave that everything. They were the better team in the second half. But they went behind to a stunner on 39 minutes from Antonio Nusa. Amad Diallo came off the bench. Wow, it was a Manchester second half. Stunning solo effort on 74 minutes. And then Erling Haaland on the 86th minute. A simple tap-in, really, but it was the build-up. Beautiful pass from Oscar Bob, squared across from Patrick Berg. Oh, the Ivory Coast players are crestfallen, lying face down on the pitch, scattered around. But as a rueful smile from the big blonde man, he knows that he's got that winner, and he sends his team through to the round of 16. And what a save at the death there from Erlen Nyland from that free kick from Amad Diallo. It's finished here in Dallas. Norway, the Vikings, have pillaged again. They move on. Final score, Ivory Coast 1, Norway 2. Europe have a bit of pride restored.